For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Welcome back to your lofty program, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. And like we normally say, when it comes to national development, we are unique together. Part of what brings us together on the issue of national development is politicking, because it is politicking that gives us a government that runs our lives. In other words, we all should be interested in what happens to us politically. The idea that, oh, politics is a dirty game, I am not interested. It's high time you get interested, because at the end of the day, if you don't vote according to your conscience, if your number does not count, and the man you don't like gets there, and the policies are not in tandem with what you think, honestly, you don't have a say. Your best bet is to keep quiet. That is why we are telling you as a Nigerian, it's high time you get interested in the people that are going to manage our affairs. We are on the threshold of 2023. Another election is coming. A new government is coming. You have one franchise, which is one man, one vote. You should exercise it, and exercise it well. And it is, the onus is now on us to make sure that information, which is key, we supply you with enough information to form an opinion and make up your mind. I want to say that again. We give you the information that will let you form an opinion that will let you make up your mind. Nobody is force-feeding you. Don't let any politician force-feed you. It is your right to have an opinion, and let that opinion guide you in voting for the right man. Little wonder this morning we are dealing with the element of presidency 2023. We want to analyze some of the candidates. Honestly, Nigerians were giving you a lot of respect, because there are myriads of political parties and counting. But the thing is, the time would not be enough for us to deal with even 10, not even 5. But what we're going to do is, we will deal with them. There are some we call majors. In our next truth, we are going to deal with the incumbent, we are going to deal with the prior incumbent, and then we are going to deal with some other ones that are making waves. So this morning we are going to be analyzing some of the presidential candidates. And with me in the studio is my brother, Cosmas Uzodimma. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. It's nice again to be with you. Thank you.
He is a public relations consultant. In other words, he's the man that knows the nitty-gritty of what happens in the media space. He's the man that connects ideas. And I'm sure this morning he's going to connect your idea to your inner self so that you can vote right. My brother, you heard my opening.
Thank you very much.
That we're all on the threshold of 2023 elections.
Yes, here with us, yes.
Before we go into the details of each and every presidential candidate that we can touch on, what are your observations so far?
My observation is it's been an interesting mix. I am seeing it would have looked like what happened in the Second Republic of NPN, NPP, and the UPN
and the PRP.
And the PRP, with we are with PDP now, being like the NPN.
That's right.
You have with UPN is more like APC now.
You don't categorize them based on what you don't know. APC is a national party.
They're all national.
They're giving us
it was also a national. UPA was a national party,
but it was regional.
It was a national party. And then you could, what I'm trying to say. It was almost resembling it.
The mix
Labour Party now is almost going like NPP, and you see PRP, NNPP.
What you're saying is the political system is getting more vibrant.
It's vibrant, but we are trying to grow out of some roots. Some the foundations.
Go away from the evolve.
Yes.
Not just to evolve.
But we are evolving out of it. Okay. So maybe you could see now some regional elements are now growing out of those regional elements, especially fueled by the new global information order. Because
it easy for us
people used to. Most of these parties were essentially regional in those days because they depended on the regional elite. The masses in the region depended on the regional elite for their information. People in the east. It was since most of the Easterners were in NPP, they depended on the NPP elite to get their information, interpretation of what's going on at the federal level. The same thing with the NPN. Essentially was like the core northern elite with some people from other areas.
Have we evolved from that tendency?
We are evolving out of it. That's what I'm saying. And the reason why the major driver of that evolution is the masses are now having other sources of information.
That makes it easier for us.
That makes it easier for the masses now. So they are no longer, like you said in the beginning, they are no longer being force-fed. So people now pick up their phone. We are in the era of Internet of Things. They get information. And they compare with what somebody has told us before.
So in that regard, we can say it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a great thing. So a nation is being built finally.
Okay.
Yeah, a nation is being built finally.
Okay, thank you.
So when you say a nation is being built finally, are you trying to say there was no nation?
It's like we just started.
It's like we just started.
Yes. Originally, people were like, this is our own. Of course, how people came into Nigeria through their cultural enclaves. People the Yorubas came in from Egbe Omo Duduwa. The Northerners came in from Jamiya Mutani Arewa. Then the Easterners were a little bit confused because the person who was their major driver was built in Lagos. So that was why there was no Ohaneze to form an Otu Ohaneze Ndibo, which will now come with its own political party. So that was what brought about the original confusion. But right now you can see you have the Afenifere, you have the Ohaneze, you have the Arewa People's Congress. But now you see now that they have little less hold on the people. Because originally these people were given...
that is going to mean the evolution is not people-friendly? The evolution of the political parties from those heydays till now, are they not people-friendly?
Yeah, the evolution...
the evolution of the regional political parties or what have you to what we have now.
Yes, it had its problem. It has its challenges. That was why ethnicity became the bane of the Nigerian political system.
Okay, then or now.
Unlike Ghana, that never had those things. Kwame Nkrumah came in. Yes.
So you said ethnicity became the bane of this. Is it then or now?
Then.
Okay.
But now.
What about now?
Now, I don't think ethnicity is having so much hold again.
It's still there.
But it's still there. It's dying. It's a dying giant.
Are you sure of that?
Yes.
If it's dying,
ethnicity is dying. People, you see, look, I look beyond my age. I look at the youth a lot. If you look at the young ones, they have different emotions. They have different, ideas about Nigeria, other than what their parents had.
Their parents were rigid.
We are still talking about we Yorubas. We are talking about we Igbos. They are still talking about we Hausas. But
this is how it has been done, and it must continue like that.
It's no longer so.
Our children are getting different.
Our children are getting different.
Now let's go into.
I have them, so I know them.
Oh, of course, of course. Little wonder we brought you here. We don't want to show just your grey hair to Nigeria. We want to share your ideas.
The grey matter.
The grey matter. Now let's move forward a little bit and then touch on a few of them. Like I said, we will have touched on about 10. But this morning, let's just deal with maybe about 3 of them. We might not talk explicitly in terms of their names. We can use their political parties as baseline, but at the same time, we want to touch on them. And what I want to do is, we would like to start from the youngest person. Let's say we're going to do 3 this morning. Let's think in terms of like our youths that you said, that are very social media prone. They get most of their information from there. They are more fluid. They don't believe in that rigidity of their parents, their parents. And then this has gone in favor of everybody's using social media these days, but one of them, one of the top ones, is using social media as a basis for campaigning, because that's a simple word for it, for campaigning in itself. How much of the campaigning, basically politicians and political parties have not been released to start campaigning. That starts by September 28th.
Sure.
But as we speak, let's call a spade a spade. Campaigning is going
on social media.
Conversation.
Oh, we call it conversation.
Let's say conversation.
Okay, it's not a conversation is going on social media. It's been ongoing.
It's ongoing, and then that's it. But the thing is, let's start from that element of one of the men we want to talk about, and the political parties, what that has done to his person, the effect he has made on the people, and you as a PR consultant, what do you think as to what he is doing and what he can achieve therein? Leave his name out of it.
Yes. Well, a lot of people get up and, change. People resist. Nothing is more constant than change.
Of course.
I mean, it's an age-old cliche, but it's worth repeating. It's constant, and people sit down and they say, "Oh, he's a social media giant." But look, it bothers me that Obama, dusted McCain, and when McCain was running an election, McCain couldn't even have an email. But Obama came in, used social media, did his crowdfunding and everything, and before you know it, a black man swept the American political space.
In the history of America.
Even Britain has not been able to achieve it till now, because if you look at Sunak, brilliant, very erudite, brilliant, with powerful program for the Conservative Party, but still look at Truss is the one who has become the prime minister.
That's the will of the people.
You could say that. The will of the people is subject to how did they get, what is their emotionalities.
The numbers count in politics, you know that.
But at the end of the day, then you go, you ask about Trump. He came in, people thought he wasn't going to make it. But if you look at the Cambridge Analytica story, he definitely commissioned a digital company. So get into the social media, drive my campaign. And before you knew it, he was already having 60-something million followers. And before you knew it, he won the election. And now when the oligarchy in America discovered that this outsider came in, and they discovered this guy was driven by Twitter and social media. That's why in the second time of that election, they had to, first and foremost, they had to go and, disrupt Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica was, first of all, pulled down. They found the fault against it, that it was collecting information illegally. And because of that, it folded.
Okay, based on what you just said now, let me add a caveat to it.
So I'm trying to say that social media is solid, it's real, and cannot be wished away.
If I may ask, all these countries you just talked about, the UK, the US, they are countries that have been developed. They are part of developed nations that we are talking about. Nigeria is one of the developing countries that we are still developing, and we are talking about Nigeria here. And you and I know that over time we've seen it that social media conversations usually do not translate to physical voting when it comes to people going up to queue up and vote. Are you saying that we're going to see something different come 2023?
Before you respond to that, let me add to it. There is a balance out there in the social media. People say there is no polling units
on social media.
How much of the
and they say and they say the voters are not the ones on social media.
How much of the banters are going to translate into
physical votes?
Take for instance, the people that do not have phones. When I say phones, Android phones. They just have this conventional phone
that they listen to radio FM.
Talk to somebody, even text message. They cannot text because they cannot write. Honestly, and those are a very formidable number of our electorate
when it comes to voting.
So, with what she just asked you now, and that balance, there is no PU, no polling unit on social media.
Yes. You see, in a society, there are the brain boxes of the society. They are the elite of the society. You have the political class. You have those who control the information class. The person who controls Android, who has Android, is likely more educated. Is likely, in terms of money, he could have much more money to be able to buy data and buy Android phone and all the rest of them. And guess what he does? He is the one who controls the beer parlor conversation. This is what people don't know. He is the one who controls the beer parlor conversation. He will tell you, look, like some of us who are sitting down here, if somebody walks, when we were young, maybe after in secondary school and after holiday, somebody just comes down from London. He tells you the story of what's happening in London.
And you believe it.
Even when
you believe it. Exactly.
There was a girl we say calling Manchester. Because this lady will go to a bar and after selling the mother's the shop, holiday is over. He will come and say he did his her holiday in Manchester. But what I'm trying to say,
wow,
those people, it's not that kind of girl, but these people go out. Somebody who's been to America, somebody comes back from America, he's wearing his shorts at the bomb. Everybody begins to wear the shirt at the bomb.
And probably
you watch Michael Jackson. You watch Michael Jackson sliding. You start sliding, and you are telling somebody that he does not have a. Now the man that has Android has seen Michael Jackson. He now dresses like Michael Jackson and slides. And those who don't have Android, who see him as the influencer,
as the library of
correct.
And they begin to do what he is doing.
They begin to do what he's doing. So when people sit down and say no social media, those people who are control this Android, those class, these other people see that. If I go to my village, if what I tell my father's wife that he does, my father, I told her, send me an information recently. I needed it immediately. I said, go and look for a girl that has those cameras they use in snapping picture.
Why must it be a girl? Let me ask.
No, those people who have because she's a woman. Maybe somebody who does all this other thing, who does phone calls and other things. Do you know? Immediately she did that. Within 5 hours, this lady had got another lady, gave her my number, they snapped the information and sent it to me. This is something. So you tell me now that I can't influence her. You tell me that this girl that uses Android in the village that does is the one that will tell people this is what is going on, this is what is going on.
Okay, thank you for that opener based on the fact that one of them has a social media
a solid base on social media.
That's not solid anyway.
You know, he says social media is solid. So I want to believe it's solid.
It's there, but the only caveat, give it to us in one sentence.
Yeah.
How much of social media banters translates to votes?
One sentence. I believe that a narrative going on that social media doesn't matter is deliberately being crafted to reduce the people's potency of social media. Okay, but there is potency in it.
All right, I agree.
It's deliberately crafted.
I agree. Let's now move on to another contestant, a presidential contestant, who I can say has been there on the presidential level before. Yes. Might not be at the top, but almost there before.
Almost there
before. So the idea is this: what is it that he has, that he is bringing to the table, that will sell his appeal to the people? You can tell us hypothetically. The average Nigerian out there knows, but we are not holding brief because nobody is paying us for it.
And looking at the fact that he has tried severally, severally.
Yeah.
Let's hear your own.
Yes.
You are a PR man.
Yes.
They're asking you like a PR man.
They have tried. I believe the gentleman is eminently qualified to be president of the country. He has experience. He has what we can call a base. They have had a base over the years. Even from he has had the base from the days of PDP, from the days of NRC and SDP.
He's been there. In politics all along.
And he has gathered enough support base, which translate into solid structures. So, and I think it's okay. It's good. And again, he comes from a region that like we talked about ethnicity and other things. Yeah, fine. Like he's the one that came out to say that in the up north here that over 90% of the people are not on social media, which I try to counter that on my Facebook. That a recent publication from the Nigerian Communication Commission shows that even the North has a wider internet penetration than the Southeast. Southeast has a list. Go check your records. Go and verify.
I know.
You know, exactly. So I don't know how. So I believe that he should, if he has to make a headway, he shouldn't sit down and continue thinking that, our people are not.
Social media is nothing.
It's nothing. This is what I think. I think it's okay. He has experience going for him. He has reached that place. Some people were trying to accuse him that no, he wasn't a chief executive, which is wrong.
In the absence of the president,
he acted. And even if he has not acted, being as a vice president, he had job to do. He had a significant influence in administering the economy. Mm-hmm. That is also something he did.
So do you see this person bringing something different from what we have? Something better, different from what
I don't think so. That I can tell you certainly. People, the Igbos don't say you don't learn how to use left hand at old age.
And put pepper in your nose.
At old age, I can tell you that of a certainty. I know what it is like. You can't start learning things. At 60 now, there are things I want to do, I want to learn. Sometimes you discover that you don't have the flair again. So those new ideas, I don't think he's going to go to the old beat. And he has old interest he will want to satisfy. He has this, everything has been fossilized that he will come in and begin to do the prebendalism kind of politics of, okay, we have won this election, what do you want, what should you get, and what do you...
Thank you at that level. Now let's move to the other party, because we're trying to work tripartite.
Yes.
The other party, okay, there is the social media, there is the element of, it's been there before, or close to it. And there is the element of another party that has been on board.
Yes.
Who believes in the element of saying, okay, it's my turn.
Yes.
Or it's our turn, whichever way he wants to phrase it.
Yes.
What do you think he is doing in terms of what the first one in social media has done, the second one by being part of government has done, and with him too? What do you think is bringing to the table in terms of getting across to the people?
To the people.
Yes. Well, I think he's a balance. He's a balance between the social media rave and the extreme right, which I think the other candidate represent. I could say that those other candidates represent the extreme right, and the other candidate that social media driven represents the extreme left. And then the centrist. That the gentleman you're talking about is more of a centrist, and he has and the party he is sitting up that he is running election upon is a balance between a party that came up from the regional side and he also bringing his own people from his own regional side, and they're trying to make forays into other regions of the country. I think these are the advantages, and again there has been a subsisting covenant, and which the covenantees are still working. Nobody has betrayed in that covenant. And these are the areas of strength. And given that he's also from another area that is sophisticated, from a region of Nigeria that is sophisticated intellectually and otherwise, I think these are the things he's bringing onto the table. And in terms of ideas to govern, I think we can. He's not a pushover, but but there are other considerations which people has made the wave in recent times, which let's look at that. Nobody's God.
What do you think, Charity?
So are you saying this particular candidate will maybe do something away from what? Because I am more interested in the Nigerian person. We're all interested in what Nigerians are going to get at the end of the election in 2023. Yeah,
like I said before, he's going to, it's going to be a balance. We can't throw it away and say no, he's not. There's nothing new he's going to bring, because given that we can give it to him, he has proven his mettle as a very solid administrator, and he's somebody that has also shown that he can bring he can form a team of formidable lieutenants who can drive the administration, drive his agenda and drive his manifesto. These are things I think he has that are going for him.
Let me throw you a curve there. There is this unwritten law in Nigeria about this North today, South tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody has personal opinion about that. I have been able to tell people that there are a lot of things in Nigeria that are not in our constitution.
Yeah.
Things like Governors Forum. It's not in our constitution.
Yeah.
I was in a forum one day and I said it's just a club of governors.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they became very formidable.
Yes.
Very, very formidable. And it is not part of our law. Governors Forum is not part of our law. But they wield a lot of power.
Yeah.
So also is this element of let it come to the North today. It's an unwritten law. Let it come to the South today. What do you think about that in this dispensation that we're in?
Well, I align myself with Professor Wole Soyinka on that matter. He gave a very studied response to it. He said, I could care less who becomes the president of this country. But, which religion or which region the gentleman is from. Like somebody has always said something that if you board the aircraft, you don't ask what's the religion of the pilot. But I added that if the pilot says, no matter how far I have gone, if it is time for me to do, like in the Catholic Church, they have Angelus, a prayer that's said by midday. If it's time for me to do Angelus, I have to come down and do my Angelus. Will you board that aeroplane again?
No.
You will not.
That's a big no.
So once people have introduced that element, then it becomes a factor. You begin to ask, this flight captain, is he a Catholic? Will he fly me and tell me by 12 midday he must, no matter where he is, he must touch down and do Angelus? If they say yes, You say, ah, no, I won't board this flight. So when somebody was saying that when you board an aircraft, you don't ask whether the person it is. But when it has become an issue, it's become an issue. That's what Wole Soyinka is saying. So in order that, and Robert Dahl in politics says, when groups are stated, everything is stated. When I say everything, I mean everything. That the whole society runs on the basis of groups.
Of course.
And so you don't just come out, you know. That is the fundamental. When in America they talk about inclusiveness, and when they talk about plural societies, we are a plural society. And what makes us plural? It's not the plurality of the individuals. It's the plurality of the groups. And so everybody must see. I like, you know, there was a statement, even though I'm not an avid supporter of Biden, he said, when he put this, he looked at the Supreme Court, he said, now the Supreme Court looks like America. What is the meaning of that? Because there's a black lady in the Supreme Court now. There's a woman there, and there's a black woman, even though there has been a black man there. But you see, even his press secretary is a black lady. And so when people come out and say, this looks like America, meaning you see an Indian, you see a black, you see this, you see that.
Let me now.
And so the same thing in Nigeria.
I am going to rephrase my question by throwing you a direct question.
Yes.
Do you subscribe to that North Today, South Tomorrow? In this,
like zoning, do you subscribe to zoning?
Zoning, yes.
I know. I have answered it. No, I've answered it that groups.
You were generic about it.
Generic. Okay. I would say yes.
Okay.
If you want it to be, that should be. If it is this place today, it's not ideal. It is, you know, primordial. But you can't go with the people faster than their legs can carry them.
Of course. Thank you for that notion. And then, because time is not on our side, I want you to say something within 2 minutes. Thereabout. What do you think in terms of that prior performances? Will that come to the fore in these elections? What they've done before? Like just like when you are writing an application, you have to write your job experience.
Yes.
I am looking at the job experience of these three.
Yes.
What job experience are you attaching to them as annexures that will favor them or will not favor them? Let's start from the last man we talked about.
The last man, I believe he did extremely well as a governor in his former state. And not only in performance, in infrastructure, I mean in terms of accomplishment, but in character. I can say this is a man that finished his governance and called he called EFC or ICPC, come and audit me. Is it,
that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Let's now move to the man that was close to power. The man that was close to power,
I think he too has, because he was not the chief executive, we can't totally ascribe the accomplishments to him, but we can say if it is so, I will say that he did that first government that came after the end of the military government. I mean, it did so well. The Obasanjo regime, let's say it clearly, he became the father of modern Nigeria.
And let's now move
the last person, the other person, with a solid social media base.
Solid person. What greatest thing has going for him was that he was denied funding, because of the local government allocation, and he was able to go above that. Got enough resources to run a very successful state. So the choices are okay. I think so.
Thank you very much. You've been able.
So it's left for Nigerians to make their choices.
You've been able to, not just us, our viewers out there are enjoying your person. Little wonder they keep calling for you. And to you, our viewers out there, you've been able to hear it from a PR consultant. He's an expert in public relations. He's not just saying it. His name is Customer Zuzodima. He's not just saying it, but if you sit back, you'll be able to relate to him that, yes, what he is saying is not force-feeding me. is making me make up my own mind so that I can form an opinion. And we can tell you this for free. We will be back with him to educate us some more. And from me, your host, I am Bola Bakare, and from the co-host out here,
I'm Charity Tanko, and I